How does a king of hip-hop fall so far that his own legacy betrays him? In a Manhattan courtroom in May 2025, Sean "Diddy" Combs, once the untouchable force behind Bad Boy Records, faced a reckoning that could lock him away for life. At the heart of it was Cassie Ventura, his former girlfriend, whose testimony didn't just expose a man, it tore the veil off an empire built on secrets. Her words, backed by chilling evidence and a parade of witnesses, painted a picture so dark it left jurors reeling and the world watching. Today we're diving deep into the trial that's shaking the music industry. Cassie's bombshell claims, the video that broke the internet, and the whispers of a scandal bigger than anyone imagined. Viewer discretion is advised. This story will pull you in and won't let go. Cassie Ventura wasn't just a name on a witness list. She was the spark that set this firestorm ablaze. At 19, she signed with Bad Boy Records, her single Me and You climbing the charts, and her romance with Diddy seemed like a fairy tale. But in court, 8 months pregnant and dressed in a simple gray dress, she looked like someone who'd seen the other side of that dream. Her 2023 lawsuit against Diddy accused him of a decade of abuse, physical, emotional, and beyond. When she took the stand, the courtroom froze. Her voice was steady but heavy, carrying the weight of years spent in Diddy's shadow. She wasn't just a pop star anymore. She was a survivor, ready to tell a story that would make even Diddy's closest allies flinch. As she spoke, he sat across from her, hands trembling, eyes fixed on the floor. What came next wasn't just a relationship gone wrong, it was a system, carefully built and ruthlessly enforced, and it was about to unravel. The freak-offs, as Cassie called them, weren't random nights of excess. They were productions, planned down to the last detail like a twisted Hollywood set. Cassie described rooms prepped with dim lights, specific playlists, and shelves stocked with baby oil. Over 1,000 bottles, later found in federal raids on Diddy's homes. She said she was often handed pills or drinks, never told what they were, just enough to blur her senses and make compliance easier. Diddy, she claimed, would sit in the shadows, directing her and male escorts to perform intimate encounters while he watched, demanding she narrate every moment aloud. If she hesitated, he'd call her boring, or threaten to find someone else. The courtroom sat in stunned silence as she described these events, some allegedly happening during her most vulnerable moments, like her menstrual cycle. Jurors scribbled furiously, one wiped a tear. Diddy didn't look up. But the real shock was the evidence waiting to back her up. Nothing hit the courtroom harder than the 2016 surveillance footage from the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles. Aired by CNN in 2024 and played for the jury, it showed Diddy chasing Cassie down a hallway, grabbing her by the neck, and slamming her to the ground. He walked away, only to return and kick her as she lay motionless. The video wasn't a heated argument, it was cold, deliberate. Prosecutors paused it, zooming in on Cassie's crumpled body and Diddy's blank stare, letting the image burn into the jury's minds. Israel Flores, the security guard who responded, now an LAPD officer, testified that Cassie was dazed, bruised under her eye, and begging to leave. He said Diddy tried to bribe him to keep her there. As the footage played, Diddy twitched in his seat, his once cool demeanor cracking. Jurors leaned forward, some visibly shaken, but this wasn't a one-off moment, it was a glimpse into a pattern that others would soon confirm. Cassie's story wasn't hers alone. A parade of witnesses revealed a world where fear was the currency. Dawn Richard, a former Danity Kane singer, took the stand, her voice trembling as she recalled a 2009 incident. She saw Diddy hit Cassie with a skillet during an argument, then drag her upstairs by the neck. "I froze," Dawn said. "I didn't know what to do." Assistants told similar stories, describing a culture where Diddy's control was absolute. One recalled ordering crates of baby oil and lubricants weekly, no questions asked. Another found Cassie sobbing alone in a dark room after a session, whispering, "Don't tell him I'm crying." She handed Cassie a glass of water and said, "You're doing great," as if it was just another day. The jury listened, stone-faced, as these accounts piled up, each one chipping away at the myth of Diddy as an untouchable mogul. But one witness would take it even further. Trisha Weller's testimony was a curveball nobody saw coming. She hadn't been named in any lawsuits before the trial, but her story sent chills through the courtroom. In 2017, she was invited to what she thought was a private dinner for creatives at Diddy's Miami mansion. Within 45 minutes, she found herself in a locked room with 3 strangers, one holding a camera. "I tried to leave, but the door wouldn't budge," she said, her voice shaking. She was later paid $7,000 through a shell company linked to Diddy's staff. In the hallway afterwards, she saw Cassie, who avoided her eyes like it was routine. The jury clutched their notepads. One woman's paper tore under the pressure. Trisha's account wasn't just a story, it was a glimpse into a system that seemed to trap everyone in its orbit. And whispers of something even stranger were starting to surface. Online, rumors have swirled about a darker side to Diddy's world, and Cassie's testimony gave them life. She described what she called spiritual freak-offs, held on full moons or Diddy's birthday, where he'd burn incense, play tribal music, and recite phrases he claimed came from ancient African texts. "He said it was about power," Cassie testified, "like I was helping him channel something bigger." Some reports claim these rituals were part of a broader network, with staff enabling and silencing victims. Others say it was just Diddy's twisted fantasy, but the jury heard every word. Prosecutors didn't confirm these details and they remain unverified, but a leaked financial ledger added fuel to the fire. Labeled with terms like care and silence, it showed payments from $2,500 to $80,000, hinting at a cover-up. The courtroom buzzed as jurors exchanged glances. Was this just one man's obsession or something bigger? Diddy's defense had to act fast. Diddy's lawyers came out swinging, arguing this wasn't abuse but a complicated relationship. A male escort known only as DA took the stand, calm in a gray suit and sunglasses. He confirmed participating in freak-offs but said Cassie booked him directly, sometimes under fake names for fun or her birthday. He described Diddy as quiet, watching from the corner, and claimed some acts, like an incident involving urination, were Cassie's idea. Text messages backed them up, showing Cassie sending heart emojis to Diddy, even after alleged assaults. The defense pounced, questioning her drug use and memory, noting her $20 million settlement in 2023. But DA's story wasn't all rosy. He admitted seeing Diddy shove Cassie against a wall, calling it abuse, and stopped taking her calls after a night where Diddy threw a bottle across the room. The jury scribbled notes torn between two narratives. Was Cassie a victim, or was this a messy romance? The answer wasn't clear, but the evidence kept coming. The financial ledger was a bombshell. Leaked by a whistleblower from Diddy's team, it detailed monthly payments labeled care, silence, and loyalty, ranging from a few thousand to $80,000. Prosecutors argued it showed a system to buy silence, though the defense called it unverified and unrelated to Cassie. A former videographer added another layer, testifying that Diddy ordered him to destroy 300 hours of footage, saying, "It's for God's eyes only." The phrase hung in the air, hinting at something ritualistic, maybe even spiritual, in Diddy's mind. Jurors leaned forward, some visibly unsettled. The ledger and deleted files, some recovered and labeled Session Room 3 or Cassie Freakoff 2, suggested a cover-up that went beyond one relationship. Online, ex-users speculated about a larger criminal network, but prosecutors haven't confirmed it. Still, the jury was listening and Diddy's cool was long gone. Cassie's most haunting words came when she spoke about her breaking point. She testified about moments so dark she considered ending her life. "He broke me down, then tried to build me back up," she said, describing voicemails where Diddy sounded emotional, saying, "You make me do crazy things." One 2015 audio played in court had him saying, "Nobody leaves me." The psychological toll was clear. She stayed, she said, because she feared no one would believe her. "I thought it was love," she admitted, her voice cracking. The courtroom sat frozen, the weight of her words sinking in. A juror wiped her eyes, even the judge looked rattled. Cassie's story wasn't just about physical scars, it was about a mind pushed to the edge. And she wasn't the only one waiting to speak. The trial's scope kept growing, with over 100 accusers reportedly ready to testify. Most haven't spoken publicly, but their existence fuels speculation about a RICO-level investigation. Online, some claim Diddy's staff formed a network to enable and cover up his actions, pointing to the financial ledger and Trisha Weller's story. Others say it's exaggerated, with ex-posts defending Diddy's contributions to hip-hop. Prosecutors haven't confirmed a broader probe, but the possibility hung over the courtroom like a storm cloud. Each new witness, assistant, security, former artists added a piece to the puzzle, suggesting a machine that operated for decades. If true, it could implicate not just Diddy, but those who stayed silent. The jury took it all in, their faces a mix of shock and resolve, but the real fallout was already hitting Diddy's legacy. Once a titan of music, fashion, and media, Diddy's empire is in ruins. Howard University revoked his honorary doctorate. New York City took back his key. Brands like Diageo and Revolt distanced themselves, and his clothing line, Sean John, vanished from major retailers. In court, he was a shadow of his former self, sweating, scribbling notes, his swagger replaced by panic. A sketch artist captured him with hands over his ears, mouth open in a silent scream as Cassie's testimony played. It was the trial's defining image, shared across X with captions like "The Fall of a King." His defense team looked exhausted, their motions to suppress evidence denied. The judge's words were clear. The severity of these allegations demands transparency. Diddy slumped forward, whispering to his attorney as the walls closed in. What happens next? The trial isn't over, and with more accusers waiting, it could stretch into months, maybe years. Prosecutors have painted Diddy as a predator who built an empire on broken lives, but his defense insists it's a story of flawed love, not crime. The music industry is watching, with comparisons to R. Kelly and Harvey Weinstein sparking debates on X about power and accountability. Will Cassie's voice, and those who follow, bring justice, or will Diddy's influence find a way to slip through? This case isn't just about one man. It's about an industry that lets secrets fester for decades. What do you think? Can one woman's courage topple a giant? Or is the system too big to break? Drop your thoughts below, and stay tuned as this saga unfolds.